Hey, First Things First listeners, before we start the show, I wanted to tell you about our brand new Fox Sports app and website, foxsports.com, reimagined for the modern sports fan. Go ahead, download the new app right now. You don't even have to pause this episode. Every day on the new app and website, you'll see the top stories in sports, plus a rich world of written content, videos, social media, and analytics to give you a 360-degree view of the most important stories of the day. Streaming live TV has never been so easy or elegant. Every Fox Sports game, including all pregame and postgame shows, as well as the televised version of this show, just a click away. For the extra invested fan, we also go deep with real-time wagering lines, trending prop bets, win probability, and key player projections. So download the new Fox Sports app or visit www.foxsports.com. Now let's start the show. First things first, can Tom Brady really make his 10th Super Bowl? Not a typo. Or will Aaron Rodgers add to his legacy on Sunday? Yes, 10. And in the battle of LeBron versus Giannis, it is LeBron once again. How does he do it?
No.
Good Friday morning, everyone. Welcome to First Things First. Jenna Wolfe, Nick Wright, Brandon Marshall, Kevin Wildes. Nick, buddy, the king remains the king.
King remains the king, and the Lakers showing some teams out east that it is possible to play good offense and good defense.
Not so fast.
It's amazing.
Not so fast.
Amazing.
Not so fast, buddy.
All right, we'll talk some basketball in a second. We, however, have to start in Kansas City. Bills and Chiefs Sunday night for a lovely, all-expenses-paid trip to the greater Tampa area for Super Bowl 55. Patrick Mahomes taking the majority of snaps at Thursday's practice. Looks like he'll be ready to go Sunday. Our guy, Brandon, always ready to go. So, Brandon, tee us up. What are your keys to the Bills pulling off the upset on Sunday?
Here we go.
Yeah, Jen, I know there's a lot of players on the field. I know there's going to be guys on both ends of these teams ready to go and get after it. But this is going to come down to 22 guys. It's going to come down to the Chiefs offense versus the Buffalo Bills defense. That's where this game is going to be won or lost. So let's go to the three keys to success for the Buffalo Bills getting it done. Number one, no big plays from Mahomes. If you go back and watch the Week 6 game, they lined their safeties up, the Buffalo Bills did, in Canada. They were very intentional in making sure that Hill and Kelsey didn't get deep. They need to do that again. I'm sick and tired of Tyreek Hill having the same big diagonal play that nobody seems to be able to stop. So we have to eliminate that first and foremost. Number two, the key to success for the Bills upsetting the Chiefs. Eliminate Kelsey in the red zone. Guys, he's probably an all-time great tight end. He's the best tight end in football right now. When you saw him last, he had 2 red zone targets and 2 touchdowns. Absolutely can't happen, Nicholas. And the last thing, and this is where the game is going to be won or lost, I'm telling you right now, keep your eyes on this matchup this Sunday. The D-line limits. They have to limit the Chiefs' run game. What do you mean, Brandon? Well, they had to make a decision. Do we let Patrick Mahomes beat us through the through the passing game, or do we just let them run the ball? And they let them run the ball, and they did it. And they did it in the high fashion, 245 yards on the game, on the ground. That can't happen again. If you go back and watch that game, Ed Oliver, he didn't play well. He actually played really bad. And then you had guys like Phillips and Milano, who wasn't even a lineup. They're a better defensive line now. If that front four do their job, the Bills will win. And that's the keys right there, Nick.
Okay. All right. First of all, let me give Brandon Marshall some credit here. Because I'm not going to name names, but there are a lot of my friends and colleagues in the media, Colin Cowherd, who were pimping the Bills all year long and then got cold feet this week. All year long, it was the Bills, really? Josh Allen. And then all of a sudden, the game they wanted to see, and they couldn't quite pull the trigger. Brandon has been pimping the Bills all year long and got no cold feet. Picked the Bills before the playoffs and picking the Bills this week to make the Super Bowl. So I give him credit for that. But I am surprised with Brandon picking the Bills and giving these keys to the game that he would overlook the single biggest key to the game. Because I don't know if people noticed, but last week, Josh Allen was an innovator, a disruptor. He invented a new way to beat your opponent. Took it from European soccer, took it from some corners of the NBA, and brought, can we show it, this to the NFL. The flopping to extend a drive. Look at this brutality Josh Allen suffered. I mean, I don't know. They made Mahomes go to concussion protocol. I'm shocked they didn't make Josh Allen do it. And you might say, Nick, that's an outlier. That's not going to be duplicated.
Whatever it takes, Jenna,
well,
right.
Kevin Wildes.
Right.
That's right,
I will
Brandon.
remind you.
As former players, we know.
Correct, whatever it takes. And here's the deal. Patrick Mahomes, Wildes, has only ever lost one playoff game. In that playoff game, his team had the lead in the fourth quarter until what happened? Can we show, guard your eyes, kids, more brutality against the quarterback? Because it flipped this game. Watch this brutal, oh my God. That was 15 yards. That was roughing the passer on the game-changing drive of the only game Patrick Mahomes ever lost in the playoffs. That really happened. So, Wildes, I would say, key number 4, did Josh Allen go to acting class this week? Because I think that is a critical component to the Bills' ability to execute this upset, Wildes.
Okay. See what just happened there, America? How Nick made fun of me, and I was like, you rapscallion. I make fun of him. I turned a corner today, this morning, when I was like, why did that mustard and ketchup video of Nick being humiliated bother me so much? And I couldn't figure it out. I thought it was bad for maybe our careers that we were sort of associated with this, and then it hit me.
Nothing bad about it.
I'm allowed to make fun of Nick Wright. Brandon is allowed to make fun of Nick Wright. Jenna is allowed to make fun of Nick Wright. But you know what, Bills Mafia? You're not. It's like a sibling thing. I can make fun of my brother all I want, but once you start to do it, it's on. So OKW has turned the page. And here's what I want to see, Nick. I want to see full-on Avengers-style domination over the Bills. And this is why. This margin of victory thing that I've made fun of you about, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. Here are the margin of victory. 5 in the Browns, 3 in the Falcons, 3 in the Saints, 5 Dolphins, 6 Broncos, 3 Bucks, 4 Raiders, 2 Panthers, 26 Jets. That's what I want. 26 Jets. You want all gas, no bricks? Yeah, I want to see it from the Chiefs.
Wow.
It's not just offense. It's defense, too. Brandon, I'm tired of the Bills Mafia. I'm tired. You come after one of my own. This is all Wildes Mafia. Now I'm coming after you. Chiefs defense. Let me give you one more thing, Brandon, just because I'm so fired up. Show me the Chiefs defense graphic that we threw up that, who wrote this? A guy named Craig, was also my brother's name for the record. Excellent job here. The Chiefs defense steps up when they need to. Hey, okay, we're winning by a lot. Go ahead, run the ball. It's getting close. Now we're down to 4 yards per carry. How about against the Browns? We're up 2 scores. Hey, let's chill out, relax. What's up with the Patrick price? Now it's tied. Now we're down to 2 yards per carry. So I want to see the offense come out, Robert Downey Jr., the entire Bills Mafia, and I want the defense to step up the entire game. I'm pro-Chiefs.
Asking for
Send me to Arrowhead. I love the fountains. I love the barbecue. I'm going the whole way, Brandon. I'm sorry I got to leave you on an island, buddy, but it's too much. They came after one of our own, the Bills Mafia. I got to defend the guy.
Can the family sit at the table right now? Can we have a conversation? We need to get on the same page. How do we want to do life together? Hey, brothers. I don't see it the same way. Okay, you're the big brother, Wildes. Okay, we get it. We understand that.
Why?
But look, when you have a younger brother, who just keeps going out there and pushing people and making fun of people, there comes a time where we have to let him go so he can learn his lesson. So I get you. You want to stick up for Nick, but when is enough? Enough is enough. And I will say this is
Brandon is saying, I need to go get my butt kicked. I need to learn my lesson and get my butt kicked, right? That's what you're saying. But that's what Brandon's saying, that it'd be good for me long term.
No, that's your job, Brandon. We should do that on the show. Not outside the house, inside the house. You can destroy him on the show. You can't have Bills Mafia and he's mentioned.
As the Marsha Brady of the whole, please, guys, as the Marsha Brady here, I'm going to say we're all going to get along. We're all for one, one for all here. Out there, let them say and do what they want to do, but we're running out of time, so we got to just step aside for 1 second. That is the story in the AFC. In the NFC, I got two words. It's called Brady. It's called Rodgers. Who do you trust more come Sunday? You do know Marsha Brady, Nick. Stop with they're too old for me. Rodgers and company, all loosey-goosey, ahead of the big game. They're ready. They're dancing. They're feeling good. We're ready. First things first.
As the Lucille
who's the
Ball of
quintessential
this
older
show,
sister?
let me explain.
What's up, First Thing First listeners? It's your boy Shay Sharp, co-host of FS1's Undisputed. I wanted to tell you about my new podcast, Club Shay Shay, where we always do something before two something. Each week, I sit down with a guest for a drink and conversation, and as host and proprietor of Club Shay Shay, I've welcomed in esteemed guests such as Snoop Dogg, Floyd Money Mayweather, LeVar Ball, Isaiah Thomas, just to mention a few. Whether I'm talking to an athlete, a musician, an actor, or a lifelong friend, Club Shay Shay is a place where people share inspiring and motivational stories about their journeys to prominence. The new episode drops every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to Club Shay Shay now and make sure you never miss a new episode. Now, back to First Things First.
All right, let's talk some football. NFC title time now. So many storylines here. None sexier than obviously Danny Ainge and also this quarterback matchup. And I'm just talking resumes, not actual guys. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and all the accolades between them. Brandon, it's simple. Who wins on Sunday, Bucs or Packers?
This is going to be a really good game, but the Bucs will win this. And I really believe they have to slow it down. They have to lean on Leonard Fournette. They have to commit to the run game. This is a team all year that we talked about. Who are they? Do they have any chemistry on offense? Do they know what they want to do? Is Bruce Arians calling the plays? Is Tom Brady calling the plays? Tom Brady throwing the ball all over the field. That's something we saw him do, or even down the field. That's not something we saw him do in New England. You saw it last week against the Saints. You know, they came out and they wanted to start throwing the ball. And it wasn't until they settled down, committed to the run, that this offense really started to form and take off. So they have to lean on Leonard Fournette, and they have to be willing to go 4 yards here, 3 yards there, 6 yards there. I think that's the best opportunity because now you're keeping Aaron Rodgers off the field. And, Kevin, there's a few more things here. You got to look at Chris Godwin. That's one of those things that we're not even talking about. The guy has 6 drops in the playoffs. Most receivers have 6 drops in the regular season. This is a phenomenal wide receiver, and he's in a slump right now. He needs to find a way to get out of this slump, out of this funk, because it's going to come down to a few big plays. These wide receivers are going to have their opportunities down the stretch, and Chris Godwin has shown you in the playoffs that sometimes the stage is a little too big. I still believe in this guy, but he needs to come up big when Tom Brady calls his number.
I think he will. I think he's going to have a better game than Mike Evans. But I have some news to report, Brandon. I'm an optimist. But as you know, Michael, my raven that looked like a parrot, suffered an untimely death, the hands of a wind turbine. And unfortunately, his evil brother, Theo, this is Theo. And Theo has not taken his brother's untimely death very kindly. And he, instead of keys to winning the game,
in the Wilds household.
he has made nightmare fuel, ways the Bucs can lose the game. Nightmare fuel for the Bucs, courtesy of Theo, the mean raven, mad at his brother's demise at the hands of a wind turbine. The first piece of nightmare fuel for the Bucs is if Tom Brady misses the deep ball. Tom Brady didn't have a deep pass in 4 of the 5 Bucs losses. And you might say, well, he doesn't throw a lot. Not true. Led the league in touchdowns over 20 yards with 12. Number 2, under pressure. It's not only a great David Bowie song and a Vanilla Ice sample. It's what Tom Brady hates. In every loss, Brady was pressured in over 25% of his dropbacks. He's an old man just like me, does not like to be on the ground. So if they pressure him over 25%, guaranteed loss, according to Theo. Next one, the one that Brian Westbrook hates, abandoning the run. They've lost 4 of 5 games when they ran the ball 20 times or less. So like you said, Brandon, if Leonard Fournette is not involved, take an L for the Bucs nightmare fuel. And finally, Nick, one near and dear to your heart, the Bucs have lost every game when they can think they're in 5 down territory. Tom Brady,
I like that one.
forgets which down it is again. It's a guaranteed loss. So that's the nightmare fuel that is keeping Tom Brady up tonight on the eve of his big championship game.
Despite the fact that I really, really dislike Theo, and confession to make, it wasn't a wind turbine that killed Michael. It was me. I was sick of him. I thought he'd be gone, but now his brother's here. I think Wilds actually makes good points. I think Brandon also made good points, but I think both of you are ignoring the biggest story here. I shouldn't say ignoring, but haven't addressed the biggest story. And the biggest story is what is on the line for Aaron Rodgers. And that is because there was a moment 6 years ago, almost today, 6 years and 3 days ago, where Aaron Rodgers had, and Jen, I know you love these references, a sliding doors moment in his career. And he went the wrong way with it. It was the NFC Championship game against the Seahawks. The Patriots were already clinched for the Super Bowl. At that moment in time, Tom Brady had 3 rings and had not won a Super Bowl in over 10 years. Rodgers was moments away from getting back to the Super Bowl with a chance to beat Brady head-to-head in a Super Bowl. He would have 2 rings, Brady would have 3, and this forget the GOAT conversation. It would be, is Rodgers simply the best quarterback of his era, not Brady? That onside kick happened. The overtime happened. And then what happened to Rodgers was the next year in the playoffs, he completes 2 Hail Marys and they lose. The next year in the playoffs, they make the conference championship game. They're down 31-0. They then miss the playoffs for 2 straight years, make it back to the conference championship last year where they're down 27-0. He was this close to being able to play a game to potentially dethrone Brady, who wasn't yet the GOAT. Since then, he hasn't been anywhere close to this moment. This is the biggest game, Brandon, he's played in 6 years. He's an all-time great, and that, to me, is what this game's going to come down to. I think Rodgers is going to be all-time special in the biggest game he's played in a half-decade, and that's what's going to carry the Packers.
Nick, you're absolutely right, but there's some players you just don't worry about. Aaron Rodgers is one of those guys where you study his mindset. You're like, man, this dude is even keel. He rises to the occasion in big moments. So I'm not really concerned about Aaron Rodgers. What I am concerned about is that pass protection. We go back to the last time these 2 teams faced. Yeah. What happened? Coming into the game, their offensive line was stellar. We were talking about this offensive line as the best pass pro offensive line in the game. I think he was hit or pressured maybe 3-4 times going into the Tampa game. After the game, he was hit 11 times, sacked 4 times. That's a huge problem. So if anybody needs to step up to the challenge, it's that offensive line, Jenna.
That's right. That's a good point.
All right, we're going to take a slight turn here and talk some NBA. Nick's got to give out some medals. Zion had a big night last night, went for 27, but Pelicans lost to the Jazz, and so Zion missed out on a medal. Nick, who did not miss out on a medal on your podium?
Hey, let's give the Knicks some love. The best team in the tri-state area right now, the New York Knickerbockers. Wow. Julius Randle, 16, 17, and 9. 1 assist away from a triple-double. Julius Randle in a big win over the red-hot Golden State Warriors. Silver medalist. Hey, listen, Donovan Mitchell. Shaq might think you're no good, but I disagree with him. Donovan Mitchell, 36, 7, and 5 in a win over the Pelicans. He was outstanding. And then, first gold medal of the year, LeBron James. He responds to his first bad game since the first game of the bubble with his best game of the season. Once again, doing his Steph Curry. Not a full turnaround, but a quarter turn. 34, 6, and 8. Controlling every facet of the game in year 18 against the defending two-time MVP.
Well deserved.
Julius Randle, Donovan Mitchell, LeBron James, Jenna. That's your bronze, silver, and your gold.
All right, that's Nick's top 3 wilds. Your miss the cut moment. Nick, he gave us a nibble. We'll give you a bite. One of the most awkward interviews I've ever seen. Check out this exchange between Donovan Mitchell and Shaquille O'Neal.
Father, this is Shaq. I said tonight that you are one of my favorite players, but you don't have what it takes to get to the next level. I said it on purpose. I wanted you to hear it. What do you have to say about that?
All right. That's it.
That's it?
All right, that's it.
Okay, cool.
I mean,
I wanted you to hear it.
I've been hearing, Shaq, I've been hearing that since my rookie year. You know, I'm just going to get better and do what I do.
Good.
At the end of the day.
Well, that's what I wanted you to hear you say.
Yes,
Love
sir.
your game, brother. Keep it up.
Appreciate it.
Brandon, I am totally torn on this. One part of me thinks that it's totally cringeworthy and inappropriate, and then I'll have a sip of coffee and say, you know what? He's right. Why aren't we talking about Donovan Mitchell should be a guy who wins an MVP, can be a guy who carries a team to the finals? So I'm totally confused, and you can push me over the edge either way on whether this was good motivation or just kind of petty and weird.
This was a miss here by Shaq, Wilds. I think when you make that move from ball player to full-time analyst, the toughest thing to do is how you talk about other players. And what you saw here was Shaq embracing being a player and Shaq trying to hold him accountable or to challenge him. He should have picked up the phone and had this conversation with Donovan Mitchell. Look at Donovan Mitchell's response to that. That was the most humblest response I've ever seen. He's looking up like, Shaq, I look up to you. You're an idol to me. It's like he absolutely crushed the guy. The guy probably had tears in his eyes when he was walking in the locker room. Shaq shouldn't have done this on air, but what he was also doing was saying, like, I'm challenging you when I'm not talking to you. I just want you to know that. So when I see you, you're not like, man, Shaq, why do you always talk behind my back? I think this was a miss by Shaquille O'Neal, and this is a challenge for most players. How do you talk about current players? Shaq, you missed out on here. You missed this one, buddy.
We'll see if it turns into a little motivation for Donovan Mitchell. All right, we'll take a turn, talk some Fox Super 6. Download the app for free. Make your picks for the NFC title game this weekend. Terry Bradshaw giving away another truck plus $500,000 of his own money. Here's Terry from Maryland who won Bradshaw's truck last weekend.
I just can't say it enough. I'm so blessed to be the winner because the odds were so high and things don't happen to me like this. You hear of other people and I always say, wow, that's amazing. But I can say it now myself. This is amazing.
Hey, First Things First listeners, it's Charlotte Wilder here to tell you about my new podcast with Mark Titus called the People's Sports Podcast. It comes out every Thursday, and Mark and I take one of the big stories of the week, and then we go off on tangents you never saw coming. This might mean that we start talking about the Dodgers winning the World Series and end up wondering if Knicks fans deserve happiness. Or begin with LeBron's greatness and end up drafting our ultimate beer league softball team made up of old athletes. Whatever it is, the only rule of the show is that it has to be fun and funny because these days we can all use as many laughs as we can get. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts and come down weird sports rabbit holes with us. We can't wait to have you. Now, back to First Things First.
All right, and so this team's going to be built on, we're going to kick you in the teeth, all right? And when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off, all right? And we're going to stand up. And then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down, all right? And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap, and we're going to get up. And then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing, all right? That's going to be the mentality.
I literally cannot take it.
I mean,
enough. No, I'm sorry. I'll just speak for myself and say that was too much. Let's play a little drawing a blank. That was new lines coach Dan Campbell, the head coach, talking kneecaps upon going down. Coming up, more kneecaps. Brandon, new lines head coach Dan Campbell's press conference was blank.
Jenna, you're wrong. You're talking about it's too much. It's not too much. It's one kneecap too much. Like, he lost me after that. Like, he could have been fine when he said, yeah, you on the way back up, one kneecap. We would have all been sitting here like, it's a little awkward, a little weird, but we kind of get it, right? It's Detroit. You know, who wants to talk about X's and O's? I think he's right, but then he just kept going on and on and on. It's unbelievable. Nick, you know I played for a bunch of teams, and I'm embarrassed to say this, but I had Dan Campbell twice as a coach. I like him, but this right here is embarrassing for me, buddy. I don't know if I can claim Dan Campbell right now, Nick.
Yeah, listen, Dan the Man Campbell gave a press conference like we would have expected Dan the Man Campbell to, if you remember his tenure in Miami. But it was actually cliche, because you know what I'm sick of? Every coach in the NFL who gets hired for any city other than basically Miami, Los Angeles, or San Francisco, you know what they say? We're going to take on the personality of this city. It's a hard-nosed, blue-collar. Zip it! Stop it! I'm so sick of these guys being like, we're from a hard-nosed, blue-collar, physical city, so we're going to play hard-nosed, blue-collar, physical football. When Brian Flores got to Miami, was he like, you know what? Miami, a lot of fun, a lot of sun. We're not hitting anybody. We're going to sling it around the field. We're going to care about how our jerseys look, because that's the personality of the city. Guys, I'm from a hard-nosed Midwestern town. You know what Andy Reid didn't say, because he's smart when he got to Kansas City? We're going to punch you in the mouth. And then when a tooth comes out, we're going to put it back in your mouth and punch you again. Because that's what we do in Kansas City. Stop it. It's so stupid. It's so dumb.
Punch him in the mouth. Take the tooth out. Put it back in.
You are
punch it
100% right. You're the other one. It's like, oh, Pittsburgh Steelers, home of biotech hubs. It's like, we're gonna play like biotech. Okay. My answer was worrisome. Here's why. I'll give you a little quick story. Anthony Bourdain, rest in peace, wrote a great book, Kitchen Confidential. He said, hey, when you go to a restaurant and you go to the bathroom and the bathroom is a mess, the restaurant management knows that customers go to the bathroom. And if they can't keep that right, that all the customers see, who knows what's going on in the back freezer when they got to do the inventory for, you know, octopus or whatever it is. So Dan Campbell, if you want to give that speech to the players, and maybe they'll be like, oh, okay, we're eating kneecaps. Do I take my mouthpiece in or out? That's fine. But this is you're the leader of a $1 billion organization. There's a full-on PR team here that you didn't run anything by. And God bless you if you did. If they're like, okay, kneecaps? Yeah, you're going to eat
what if you did?
Kneecaps? That's good. It just shows an overall lack of preparation if that's what you're leading with, just like a dirty bathroom in a great restaurant. I told Nick to let me know when the over-unders come out on Fox Bet. I'm going to bet it all on the under for the Lions.
Do you wonder if Dan walked away and goes, nailed it? I wonder if he thought that he really got it right.
What are you doing?
On to Kansas City now. It looks like Patrick Mahomes will be good to go for Sunday. Took the majority of snaps again at practice yesterday. But Brandon, the player that you're most excited to watch on Sunday is blank.
Yeah, Tom Brady. Can't wait to watch his wizardry just on full display. Like, this is a guy that came here to win. But he's also done it in so many different ways, whether on the ground, with his guys in the backfield, throwing the ball over the field, his defense. I think this game is going to be a slow game. I think they're going to lean on the run. But then it comes down to situational football, and that's what I'm excited to watch. And I think this is where he'll be the difference maker. I want to see him before the end of the half go down and put up some points. Maybe get a field goal, maybe get a touchdown. I want to see him in a 2-minute offense where, you know, he needs to put the Packers away or he needs to go down there and score. I think that's where he thrives. Let's watch Tom Brady on third down, third and long, third and short. What are they doing? How is he getting to his check down? I'm excited to watch Tom Brady in situational football because this is why you brought him here. And if he does a phenomenal job in those moments, they'll be on their way to a Super Bowl.
Brandon, I'm going to take a page out of your book and talk receivers. I'm going to take a page out of Wild's book and talk tomorrow's headlines today. I'm the most excited to watch Davante Adams. Because if Davante Adams has a big game and the Packers win, get ready for a week of Super Bowl stories. Davante Adams, the best player in the NFL no one talks about. Davante Adams, is he actually the best receiver in football? Did you know Davante Adams led the NFL in touchdown passes? Did you know that the Rodgers-Adams quarterback-wide receiver combo on a per-game basis is as deadly as Montana Rice on a per-game basis? One game away from Davante Adams becoming a household name, not just for football fans, but for everyone. He will be one of the lead storylines for Super Bowl week if he has a big game Sunday. So that's who I'm excited to watch, Wilds.
That's great. I'm going to go for the Gronkaneers. We've heard a lot about the Tampa Bay Gronkaneers, but recently it's been more Tampa Bay and less Gronkaneers. Gronk played every game this year. He's healthy. I'm rooting for him, obviously, as a Patriots fan. And here's why I'm rooting for him to go to the Super Bowl. One Super Bowl, he was hurt, and then he missed the Falcons Super Bowl. Still gets the ring, but he missed the Falcons Super Bowl. With a win this weekend, get to another Super Bowl, and he's very excited no matter what conference he's in. Take a listen.
What up, baby? Here with the star of the game, baby. Woo! Robbie G. Robbie G.
AFC, NFC, we're in the FC. Yeah, we're good. Let's move on and talk some Josh Allen. So Gronk. Nick ranked him as the player with the most to gain from winning Super Bowl 55. But Brandon, the player with the most to prove on Sunday, in your opinion, is blank.
Not player, but players. The Packers offensive line. Will you do your job this time around? Like, how do you go into the last game being one of the best pass pro offensive lines out there, and then you let your guy get hit 11 times? He's one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever do it, and you let him get smacked around 11 times, sacked 4 times? No, you can't do that. So I'm excited to watch those guys and how they bounce back. This is all about pride, this one.
It's a great answer, Brandon. I'm going to go with another underdog story, another guy that is clearly the inferior player in his matchup, the guy who's not an MVP candidate, the guy who's coming off an injury. Patrick Mahomes. Can he slay the dragon that is Josh Allen and this unstoppable Bills offense? Kevin Wildes made a really interesting point yesterday. The Chiefs offense, the worst offense statistically of the 4 teams remaining. So Patrick Mahomes, hopefully he's not going to be what holds the Chiefs back, but he's got to prove it to us because 14-2 and 25-1 in his last 26 starts, not doing it for America these days. Not when you have the new hotness of Josh Allen. So Wildes, I think he's got the most to prove. Is Patrick Mahomes still good? We'll find out on Sunday.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, I'm going to take a page out. This happens in hip-hop a little bit, where someone tries to create a beef out of nothing. Like, oh, is there a J. Cole, Jay-Z rivalry? Is there beef there? I'm like, no. Why are you tweeting that? So here it is. Kelsey versus Stephon Diggs. Remember, Nick, Kelsey was going to be the first tight end to lead the league in receiving yards, but Stephon Diggs like, nope, while you're sitting down, I'm going to be the winner. So I think Travis Kelsey has a lot to prove. Does he think so? I don't know, but maybe after seeing this graphic, he's like, yeah, you're right, Wild. I do have a lot to prove.
I like it.
Big rap fan.
I like it.
Antonio Brown is a game-time decision with the knee injury that's kept him out of practice this week. It could be Miller time if he can't go, but Brandon, the under-the-radar player who will make headlines come Sunday is blank.
Yep, big matchup this Sunday versus the Bills versus the Chiefs. The Bills' defense last time around was phenomenal. They did an excellent job, but that D-line was bad. Like, when you think about the scheme and how well coached they were, it was excellent. But they were horrible up front. I know Ed Oliver, who I'm going with. You didn't have Milano. You didn't have Phillips next to you. But you played really bad. You need to do a better job, because if you front four can limit that run game, you will win it. So I need to see Ed Oliver and company do a better job this time around.
Good answer, Brandon. I like Ed Oliver. I like any man that still rides a horse as Ed Oliver does when he's back home at Houston. But I'm going with a man whose name has not been mentioned much this year. Hasn't played much this year. Didn't even play hasn't played in the playoffs yet, I should say. Sammy Watkins. He's back healthy, should be. And what we have seen in the postseason with the Chiefs is teams try to take away Kelsey, they try to take away Tyreek, which leaves Sammy Watkins wide open. He was spectacular in the postseason last year. This year, all season, he has 400 yards and 2 touchdowns. He is going to get single coverage throughout Sunday's game. He's finally theoretically healthy. Sammy Watkins could have a massive game on Sunday, Wilds.
That's right. I like that you said still rides a horse. I mean, he rides it recreationally. It's not like he's riding it in lieu.
He's riding it as a mode of transportation.
He rides it to work. He rides it to work. That's what he does.
It's just like Jesus.
Get your facts right.
Yeah, big giant horsepower.
Yeah.
Okay. Carlton Davis, my new guy, going to shut down Devontae Adams. Also, Juju got killed for all these TikTok dances that he did. Carlton Davis putting out fire on his Twitter, and no one's talking about it. Look at this latest one. What does he call? I don't have an island. A shot at Darrelle Revis. I got a graveyard. Let's go. Graveyard Island. You can also, for the record, have graveyards on island. There's no reason to take a shot at Darrelle Revis there. You know, Manhattan's an island. There's graveyards. Is there? Yeah, maybe.
There's graveyards. Very expensive in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Can we talk some basketball for a second? LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo, LeBron continuing his dominance over the young superstar last night. Nick will tell us how LeBron continues to do it. It's next. First things first. Welcome back. Let's talk about this marquee matchup from last night. Lakers, Bucks, LeBron, Giannis, chance to make an early season statement for one of these two, and that statement was LeBron is still the man. 34 points and the win. Lakers back in the top spot out west. Hey, Brandon, was last night more about the Lakers win or the Bucks loss?
Whew. The Bucks are in trouble, but we'll talk about that later because last night was all about the Lakers. And also last night was bittersweet for your Lakers, Nick. It was sweet because LeBron James morphed into and evolved to the next thing. In any industry, in any sport, like you have these aging athletes, you have these aging entertainers. And if you want to survive, you have to develop. You have to do something different. You have to approach the game just a little bit differently. Last night, did it not remind you of MJ? Year 10, MJ, when he started really embracing and leaning into the fadeaway? The first option for LeBron James has always been, let me get my teammates involved. Let me pass the ball. Let me get to the basket. This dude looked like damn Ray Allen shooting the ball last night, Nick. Did you see him from 3? Did you see the fadeaway? It was awesome seeing him do that. LeBron James is just evolving to something that this game has never seen before. But the bitterness is AD. Like, if you watched AD last night or the last couple of weeks, no. This is a big problem, Nick, because AD, he really isn't, or we should be maybe questioning if he really is the MVP caliber player that we thought he was. The ebbs and flows of his game, the inconsistencies are alarming. This is a guy that we thought was going to be able to carry LeBron James to his 5th and potentially 6th ring. I'm not so sure. This is a guy that sometimes he shows up and sometimes he doesn't. So I'm really concerned about the Los Angeles Lakers because we thought he got over the hump when he won that championship in the bubble, Nick.
Sure. So, all right, so let me address the AD stuff, then I'm going to talk LeBron. So it is odd that Anthony Davis is averaging the fewest points per game of his career aside from his rookie year. He's at 21 points per game. Now, and I know Brandon doesn't like when I go to this part of the floor often, but what I will say is the Lakers, the #1 defense in the league with a bullet, Anthony Davis is the biggest reason for that. So you understand some of the defensive drop-off, but last year they were a top 2 defense, and Anthony Davis did it averaging 27 points per game. So AD does need to play better, but despite how AD's playing, the Lakers have the best record in the league. And that is because they currently have, and they will, I believe, throughout the entire season, not only have the best player in the league, everyone knows that, they have the MVP of the league. And you might say, Nick, look at LeBron's numbers. It's deeper than his numbers at this point. Brandon mentioned three-point shooting. Thus far this season, he's a better three-point shooter than Steph Curry. I will say that again. We are more than 20% of the way through the year. He is a better three-point shooter thus far this year than Steph Curry. He is shooting 40% from three on 7 threes a game. And last night, he responded to the first bad game he has played since the first game of the bubble against the Clippers months ago with his best game of the year, reminding everyone, guys, I'm in second gear so far this year, but if I need to quickly get to fifth gear on national television against Giannis, I can. And the other part of this that is shocking to me, Wilds, is the Lakers have played 16 games. LeBron has played 16 games. Shortest offseason ever, year 18, third most minutes in the history of the sport, coming off a championship, finals MVP, I'll never take a game off. It is, even as a guy who is something of a LeBron historian, this is unbelievable to me. I thought he would take some games off because it made sense to. The fact that he hasn't, they have the best record. He's shooting the best he's ever shot from three. In year 18, it seems impossible to believe, but we just saw it again last night.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you this, because you're a numbers guy. You like to, when you do your list of top 50 players, you rely heavily on statistics. I like the soft data of leadership and stuff like that. But LeBron's not top 10 in scoring. After winning the assist title, he's not top 5 in assists. So do you think that that he can win, and I don't think it's a dirty word, although people say a narrative MVP, a leadership MVP, almost like a legacy MVP, or does that strike you wrong?
I don't think, legacy MVP I wouldn't like. It should be about what you do this season. We should treat each year as a vacuum. The only way I can ever accept a legacy MVP if it's like what happened with Kobe, where it's like, wait, this guy's never won an MVP? That's ridiculous. We got to make sure he wins it. But that's not the situation LeBron's in. So I don't think it'd be a legacy MVP. But Brandon, I do think leadership matters. And I do think that LeBron's going to average 25, 7, and 7 on the year. Those are extraordinary numbers. If he does that and the Lakers have the best record in the league, that's the MVP. If the best player leads a team to the best record and has really good numbers, that's the MVP. Through 16 games, Brandon, he's the MVP.
Yeah. I mean, I love it. And when I watch sports, I like to track the storylines, Nick. Last night, I'm looking at LeBron James. I'm like, okay, they've played 10 games. He hasn't gone over 30 points. Everybody's watching this game because it's him versus Giannis. The last couple years has been Giannis. And what does he do? And he does exactly what you said. He comes out after his worst game of the season, and he plays lights out, showing us how awesome he is and how he is the MVP. So for me, I'm like, LeBron James, I wouldn't say coasting, but LeBron James went into this game thinking about the moment, thinking about, you know what, this is my opportunity to show everybody that I am the MVP. Stop overlooking me. But if I'm also LeBron James right now, Nick, I'm going to Giannis. And whilst you're talking about leadership, I'm going to him because I'm like, man, I can get ring number 5. And Giannis right now is not carrying his weight. I know you keep talking about defense, Nick, but I need that guy to be able. AD. Yeah, AD. Correct. So if I'm LeBron James, I'm going to AD, and I'm like, buddy, you got to snap out of it. This funk, these ebbs and flows can't happen. This is how you become a champion and you sustain success.
He could also tell you.
All right, let's take a turn. Let's get back to some football. You can also tell Giannis that. Let's talk about the AFC title game. Can Josh Allen keep up with Patrick Mahomes come Sunday? We'll have that for you next. First things first. Back here talking Chiefs and talking Bills. Kansas City looking like they'll have Patrick Mahomes back. He took the majority of snaps yesterday at practice, although we learned last week anything is possible. Speaking of quarterbacks, Mike Vick joining us now, just in time for that great joke. Mike, good morning. All right, what should Josh Allen's game plan be if he wants to outplay Patrick Mahomes?
Well, I'll say this, Jenna. You certainly can't come out and throw the ball 20-plus times like they did last week versus Baltimore. I don't think that's the formula for Josh Allen. What I do like is when they turn around and hand the ball off to Devin Singletary and balance it out. But Josh Allen is a dual-threat quarterback, so anytime he's on the field, he has a chance of making things happen. And, I'm excited about this game, just like everybody else, because you got two of the best in the league, and I think Josh Allen has been one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league all season. He's proven that. But this week is going to be different. It's going to be more required of him and his teammates. But I think as the leader of this team, Josh Allen is the guy with the ball in his hands. Now, like I said, I don't think they can come out and throw it 20-plus times. But it shows a lot of confidence that they have in Josh Allen for them to give him the liberty to just do that, take control of the game. And it says a lot about, what they see in him and their belief in him. Now, if it comes down to it, and that's what it has to happen, then that's when his dual threat ability comes into place, because they're in 5 wides pretty much majority of the time in different formations and a lot of different things that they do. So, I think it's going to be a very competitive game. Obviously, they're going to have to score and match what Patrick Mahomes and those guys do on the other side. But, I look forward to be a tough contest for the Buffalo Bills and them stepping up to the challenge.
So, if it's going to be a competitive game, Josh Allen is going to have to play the best game of his life given the circumstances. Now, I know, listen, they put up 50-something on Miami. I know they put up a ton of points. He has 5 games this year where he was exceptional. But he's going to have to play far better than he's played in any playoff game to this point, because here's what we know about the Chiefs. The Chiefs are getting to 31 minimum. Since Mahomes has been in the league, in the playoffs, here's what the Chiefs have done. 31, 31, 51, 35, 31, and last week they had 19 at halftime before he got hurt. So let's drill down further. How's Mahomes done in this round? Because this round, for the time being, is always going to be played in Arrowhead this weekend. It has every year of Mahomes' career as a starter. Let's look. How's Patrick Mahomes look in AFC Championship games? Can we show that? I think it's pretty good. Okay, he's been perfect in both those games. So, Brandon, you have the Bills winning. My question to you is this. Do you think they are more likely to win because they force Mahomes into his first bad AFC title game, or more likely to win because Mahomes does his thing, but Josh Allen just matches points with him? Which is the two more likely paths for the Bills to be able to walk down to leave Arrowhead with a victory?
Neither. I don't think it has anything to do with these two quarterbacks, Nick. I don't. I think the game plan that Leslie Frazier put together during Week 6, that Week 6 game, was genius. It was brilliant. They took him out of the game. They won that game because of their running back, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That's why they won that game. Yep. So now they're going to do the same thing. They're going to put the safeties deep. They're going to line them up in Canada. We talked about this. They're going to play a mixed bag of defense, a lot of zone. They're going to disguise a lot. If that front 4 do their job, contain that run game, they will win it. And then as far as like Josh Allen, it's like Josh can't get caught up in competing against Mahomes. Mahomes is going to be smart. Mahomes is going to make the right decisions. Josh Allen needs to focus on himself. He needs to play a clean game, and he also needs to be smart when he runs the ball. I'm telling you guys now, watch out for this. Josh Allen, the quarterback sweeps, the quarterback draws, the quarterback powers. That's what you're going to see. He needs to make sure he makes it through 4 quarters, because they need him to get it done in the passing game, but more importantly, that running game, Wilds.
Yep.
Yeah, when Josh Allen does the same little thing Mahomes does, where he scrambles out for 7 yards, and he did against my Patriots, like, oh, that's the one we didn't want, diving for first downs. Mike, When you saw Nick's graphic about how good Mahomes has been, that was 100% healthy Patrick Mahomes. And while the concussion protocol looks like it's going to be totally fine, the toe probably isn't. Do you think that we're making too big a deal about a tiny toe injury, or not big enough a deal about a toe injury that will limit his mobility?
No, Brandon can tell you, the toe injury is probably one of the worst injuries that you can have. And while you need, the power to push off, when you got those toe injuries, whether it's major or minor, it always has some type of profound effect on your movement. Now, if Patrick can go out and play through the pain, he can get at it and get to it. I think the most important thing in this game is the fact that Andy Reid and Sean McDermott know each other from way back in the day, from 2010, from when I was in Philadelphia and Sean McDermott was our defensive coordinator. And then Leslie Frazier, he has some experience in being around Andy, and they all know each other. So I think that's what the game is going to boil down to. Like Brandon said, the quarterbacks are going to play a factor. They're going to do their part. But I think it's going to come down to coaching in between the lines.
Yep. And Mike, you're so right. That toe is a big deal. That toe, Nick, ended my career. Brother, Patrick Mahomes, we know how awesome he is, but what makes him great is he's throwing it in so many different directions, on back foot, front foot, side, in the air. So when you take away his base, this could be a big deal. And like I've been saying all week, if that toe and ankle is a big factor, now we're not going to see him picking up those critical third downs and 10s that he always picks up at the worst situation, the worst moments for the defense. Like he does that time and time again, and that's going to be a problem if he can't do that.
All right, so I didn't say anything about this on Monday because I felt like I was embargoed somewhat, but now it seems like the information's out there. I talked to Patrick Sunday night. Patrick was not at all concerned about the concussion protocol. He was 1,000% confident he was going to be cleared to play in this game. He did seem somewhat concerned about the foot, and I think that speaks to your guys' point about how much that could affect him. So I do think those are good points. Luckily, he's so much better than Josh Allen. On one leg, he still probably can beat him. But I got a question for Vic quickly before we go.
No.
Mike, Vic, hold on. No. I got an unrelated question, Vic. As our resident quarterback, I want to show Mike a video. Can we show Mike Vick the video of Josh Allen creating a new, being an innovator in the NFL?
Call.
I want to ask you as a quarterback, Vic,
Mike,
if this is acceptable. If you would do this, here's Josh Allen bringing histrionic flopping to the NFL. It drew a 15-yard penalty. Mike Vick, you're okay with this?
That guy should have been thrown out.
Good with that. I'm all good with that, Nick, because majority of the time, and I'm not making excuses, I didn't get the calls that I was supposed to get. So whenever it was an opportunity to flop, I'm flopping, baby.
Evens
and
out.
I got away with it most of the time. Jenna, I'm telling you, like 90% of the time, I'm getting that call.
Yes.
You gotta be an actor.
You got to even it all out.
All
right, that's the story in the AFC. In the NFC, the Packers are loose. Ready for Sunday at Lambeau. Mike's going to tell you which quarterback he's putting his faith in. Don't go anywhere. Mike Vick's back with us. Next, first things first. The NFL playoffs continue Sunday with the NFC Championship presented by TurboTax Live as Tom Brady and the Buccaneers take on Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Pre-game coverage starts at 1 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Sit down at 12:59 and do not move for the rest of your Sunday. Time now for stories to start your morning, sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve. All right, Bills and Chiefs Sunday night. Lovely all-expenses-paid trip to the greater Tampa area for Super Bowl 55. Patrick Mahomes taking the majority of the snaps at Thursday's practice. So it's looking like he'll be ready to go Sunday against Josh Allen. Our guy, Brandon, always ready to go when I say his name. Brandon, what are your keys to the Bulls pulling off the upset?
Woo! Drum roll. Here we go. Number one,
let's do it.
No big plays from Patrick Mahomes. It's especially that play that we all know. We've seen it the last couple years. Tyreek Hill at the 3 spot. This play is called Gopher. It's called All Go Special. You know he's going to run a diagonal across the field, and his point is 20 yards opposite hash or the numbers. Can you guys continue to eliminate this play? You did a good job first time around, but you can't let Patrick Mahomes beat you through the air. The second one, number 2, Travis Kelce. Man, you need to eliminate Kelce in the red zone. Hello, he's the probably greatest tight end in the game right now, all-time great tight end. Last time you played, 2 trips to the red zone, 2 touchdowns. Can't happen. Absolutely can't happen. Guard him. Patrick Mahomes is looking for him first. And the last thing and the most important thing, defensive line. Hey, guys, Ed Oliver, Phillips, and, Milano. You guys got to eliminate the Chiefs' run game. Please stand up here, because you know what Leslie Frazier's going to do. He's going to line the safeties up in Canada. He's also going to disguise things and drop everybody into coverage. So you 4 got to do a good job eliminating that run game, and they can't go for another 245 yards, Nick. They can't let them do that.
All right, so I'm distracted every time we run that Chiefs practice footage, because number 1 for the Chiefs, who I looked it up, is a practice squad receiver. Every time I'm like, did they already sign Cam Newton as their short yardage back? See, number 1, he's 6'6", standing right there. I'm like, Mahomes can't run those quarterback.
Well, that's your landing spot for Cam.
They brought Cam in. His season's over. Okay, Brandon, here's the thing. Let's say the Bills check all those boxes. The Chiefs are still getting to 31. They've never not scored 31 in the playoffs since Mahomes has been there, except for this past week when they were going to score 35, but Mahomes got knocked out of the game. Scored 19 in the first half. So the question then becomes, how can the Bills match points? And so if I'm Buffalo, I say, all right, let's look to the only example we have of the Chiefs losing a playoff game, with Mahomes, the critical moment of the game when the Chiefs have stormed back and taken the lead. What did the GOAT Tom Brady do? And it's what he did there was somehow turn that into roughing the passer. Now, Josh Allen, I'm sure, was aware of that. That was a roughing the passer penalty. Flipped the whole game. Nobody talks about it. Josh Allen saw that and said, all right, that's good. But Brady's the GOAT, so he probably gets some benefit of the doubt. I need to add this. And Josh Allen was practicing last week. He's like, hey, I might not have played very well, but my acting was exceptional. And we know we're going to have to find some cheap yardage. So, no, I'm not in trouble. And I am a little concerned about Josh Allen doing this to extend drives. I'm surprised it wasn't one of your keys. It's like 3rd and forever, the Bills have to score, and then Josh Allen does his Manu Ginobili thing, and all of a sudden,
stop working the refs.
I broke my television. I broke my TV, I think, guys. That's a big problem, actually.
Exactly. But that's the football guys trying to tell you, stop trying to work the referees. It's not going to happen.
So, literally knocked out.
I'm just telling you, Wilds, I think it's a problem. I think it's a real problem.
Okay, buddy. All right. So for the last, hold on, now everything's falling apart. I get so excited. For the last, this segment's off the rails because of my Chiefs enthusiasm coming through my blood. Okay, listen up. The mustard and ketchup video that we ran the other day because you lost a bet to Bills Mafia struck me wrong.
There you go.
Struck me wrong. It's like, what's happening here? And I was mad about it. I was like, is this bad for me? I just didn't like it. It sat wrong with me. And I realized why. Because you can make fun of me about Tom Brady, and I can make fun of you about LeBron, and Brandon can make fun of you, and Jenna can make fun of you. But you know what? That's in the family. That's in the first things first family. That's not outside. So guess what, Bills Mafia? I'm sticking up for my brother in a tiny little box to the left of me or to the right. I'm not quite sure because I had the reverse image. Here's what I want to do. I want the Chiefs to go
He's next to you
full
in the
Avengers Endgame on the Bills. Do it all, Nick. And here's what I don't want, because this is true. This margin of victory thing that you guys have been doing, we've been doing, 5 against the Browns, 3 against the Falcons, 3 against the Saints. You win by 5 against the Dolphins, threw a bunch of interceptions, 6 against the Broncos, put up 22 points, 3 against the Bucks, 4 against the Raiders, 2 against the Panthers, 26 against the Jets. Take your pencils at home, everybody. Circle 26 against the Jets. That's what I want to happen to another New York team, the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, no.
Also, on defense, turn it all the way up, because the defense can go a little bit, sort of like a bad taxi driver. Go and stop and go and stop. When they're up big, the defense takes a little breath. Then when it gets close, boom, they turn it on. Well, every year, watch this. 6 yards per carry. When they're up big, then they bring it down to 4. Against the Browns, they had a similar stat, brought it down to about 2 yards a carry. So offense, turn it up. Defense, turn it way up, Nick. Big blowout. Bills Mafia. Please do not mess with Nick Wright or the First Things First family. You heard it here first. Sticking up for you, buddy.
Hold on. I don't think we see this family dynamic the same way. No, you have us sitting here as brothers, okay? And I understand taking up for your family, but there comes a point where you have to let him go and learn his lesson the hard way.
No.
He did this to himself. You have a younger brother. He's breaking televisions. He's also going out there picking fights with Bill's Mafia. He's not like, come on. No, I don't agree, Wilds, at all. I don't agree.
Okay, so here's the thing. It's a very interesting scenario Wilds has laid out there, which is I'm the guy that talks enough trash that eventually it's probably best for me to get my butt kicked. That is a life I literally lived growing up, and Wilds is saying that it's a life that I'm going to live, that I'm living right now. Here's the difference. Sometimes the guy who's talking all that trash is right. And as adults, you don't actually get to kick anybody's butt. You just got to deal with it. So Bills Mafia, listen, I'm happy for the Bills small-time crime syndicate. They got their best moments of a quarter century in almost back-to-back days. Sunday was their biggest playoff victory since Jim Kelly was there. And Wednesday, they got to see me get Pinto Rond. In another 25 years, when they're still trying to make their first AFC Championship game since Jim Kelly had been there, they can go back to those moments because they're not winning this weekend, Jenna. They are absolutely, unequivocally not winning this weekend.
I can't wait till Monday.
I know, right?
I can't wait.
Let's shift our attention to the NFC title game now. A couple of storylines here, but none better than the quarterback matchup, obviously. You got Rodgers and Brady and all the accolades between the two. Brady going for his 10th Super Bowl appearance. Rodgers just his 2nd. All right, Brandon, this is it. Who wins on Sunday afternoon on Fox? Bucks or Packers?
I'll be quick here. I'll be quick. The Buccaneers are going to win, and they're going to get it done on the run game, through the run game, and also Todd Bowles. I wouldn't be surprised if Todd Bowles come in this game and do the opposite. We saw him get after Aaron Rodgers. We saw him get after Matt LaFleur. That was a phenomenal outing by that defense, and it made everything easier for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Their offense and special teams, they was over there just having Gatorades and sipping Gatorade lattes. So when I see this game, it comes down to Todd Bowles versus Matt LaFleur. You like that, right? So when you see this, pay attention to Todd Bowles and what he's going to do with those guys on the back end. Does he put everybody up to the line of scrimmage and then he puts everybody back? This is going to come down to him versus Matt LaFleur, Nick.
Go ahead, Wilds.
Right,
I want to go last here. So Wilds,
I'm going to take the ball because, as you know, loyal First Things First viewers know that my loyal Raven, who would deliver me football stats, died in a terrible wind turbine accident and has been replaced with his evil brother Theo, who has never gotten over it. And he has not brought keys to victory. He has brought keys to defeat, what segment we are calling Bucks Nightmare Fuel. Thank you, Theo. You can take a break as I talk about the nightmare fuel for the Bucks. First piece of nightmare fuel, Nick. Missing the deep ball. Brady didn't have a deep pass in 4 of their 5 losses. You might think, that's normal. He's an old guy. Maybe he doesn't throw the ball long. Wrong. Led the league with 12 TDs and deep balls. But if he doesn't get one, they are going to lose. Number 2, Under Pressure, a great David Bowie song and Vanilla Ice sample. In every loss, Brady was pressured in over 25% of his dropbacks. Not good. You want to beat Tom Brady? Look at the lightning bolts. Oh, number 3, abandoning the run. They lost 4 of the 5 games when they ran the ball 20 times or less. And then finally, Nick, one near and dear to your heart. The Buccaneers have lost every game where Tom Brady thought that the game had 5 downs, not 4. So it's the nightmare fuel that is keeping Bucs fans awake at night, courtesy of Theo the Ravens.
Tom Brady fans.
I like all that, Wilds, but here's the thing. This game is not about Tom Brady. This game is about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers a decade ago won the Super Bowl. The next year they were 15-1 and they lost their very first playoff game. And nobody really killed him for that because they're like, oh, they'll be back in this situation time and time again. They were wrong, though. A few years later, he goes to the NFC Championship game and they have a meltdown against Seattle. Hard to put on him. Then he gets to 2 more. They're down 31-0. They're down 27-0 in those 2. He's now 37, 38 years old. And this could be his last best chance to win a Super Bowl. He's a favorite at home against a 43-year-old quarterback. Rodgers needs to, and I think will, Jenna, play the game of his life this weekend. Yep. It's at Oliver on a horse, and they'll go to the Super Bowl.
It's it.
I told you about it, Oliver.
It's going to be a fun Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody. Undisputed.